Ok. Ok, bonjour mes amis. C'est lundi. J'espère que vous avez passé un bon Pâques et tu as mangé beaucoup de chocolat. La semaine passée, on a parlé de le passé composé avec les verbes qui utilisent le verbe avoir. So, j'ai, tu as, il a, et puis avec le verbe qui termine avec un ER. Ok? So, pour une revue, ça c'est ce qu'on a regardé, tu vois? Ce sont les verbes réguliers. That means that they're regular verbs. They follow that pattern. We did this last week, remember, with the passé composé. So, passé composé means it already happened. It's in the past, okay? So, we have the pronoun plus the verb avoir, okay? And then the verb conjugated with the accent aigu, because we did ER verbs, and we take the ER off and put the accent aigu. So, that's what we did last week, right? So, now, this is a verb. We're still doing the passé composé, which means that we're still talking about things that happened in the past. So when you're writing in the past of things that have happened, then you're using the passé composé, right? So the ones that we did last week were just the ER verbs, which is all of the verbs that end with ER that follow the regular pattern, using the verbe avoir. So the pronoun being like the je, tu, il, elle, the verbe avoir meaning a, avant, avait, okay? So then you would say, I have seen, or I have gone, I have whatever. So in French, though, in English, you would say, I have gone, or I went to, right? So you would follow that same pattern of past tense. In French, the verb aller, which is the verb to go, which we're going to talk about, the verb aller, you already know that, that is a different verb. It's a special verb. It doesn't like to follow the rules like we were talking about before. Even though it ends with an ER, it doesn't follow that same rule in terms of how we put the formula together. So usual regular ER verbs, we have the pronoun, then the verb avoir, then it conjugated with an accent aigu, right? In the case of aller, we don't use the verb avoir because it's a weird verb. It likes to do its own thing and it does not follow any of those rules, okay? So let's get started with that explanation. So this is the formula for the verb aller. You have the pronoun, okay, which is the je, tu, il, elle. We know our pronouns, on sait déjà. Then we're going to add the verb être. So the verb être is the verb to be. Where when we were doing it before, we used the verb avoir, which is the verb to have. I have seen, I have gone. So this is like, we don't use this in English. We don't say, I am gone, or I am went. We don't say that. In French, this is a special verb, and that's what they use. They use the verb to be instead of the verb to have when they go somewhere. So instead of I have gone, I have went, I have seen, I have whatever, they say I am went, or I am gone, to mean that they did something where they went somewhere in the past. Okay? That's kind of, I know it's difficult to understand, but trying here step by step. So you have pronoun plus verbe être plus aller. But the aller is going to be conjugated, okay? So in order to tell you, or to remind you to conjugate it, I'm just going to put a slash through the ER, okay? So this is the formula. The only thing that's different from the ER verbs is that you use the verb être in the middle instead of the verb avoir in the middle, okay? So when we're using the passé composé, it's either one or the other. You're either using the verb aller or you're using the verb être. So the ones that use the verb, you're either using the verb avoir or you're using the verb être. So the ones that we talked about last week where we were doing the ER verbs and they used the verb avoir, all of those regular ER verbs that conjugate that way, those regular verbs are all regular. That's why they're called regular, because they follow that pattern, and the majority of the ER verbs follow that pattern. But then you have weird verbs that are called irregular verbs, irréguliers, which means that they don't follow that pattern, they do their own thing. So the reason I'm teaching the verb aller is because aller you're going to use a lot, right? How often do we say to go, right? We use that verb all the time. So this is something you need to remember. So a lot of times, especially in your writing and your speaking, like I notice, you'll say j'ai allé, j'ai allé, tu as allé. No, you cannot say j'ai allé, because if you say j'ai allé, you're using the verb avoir instead of the verb être. So so we're going to do some examples here, okay? So if I'm going to use the verb aller, first I need to pick a pronoun. So let's start with je. That's the pronoun I'm starting with, je. Okay, now I need the verb être. So the verb être for je is suis, je suis. Okay, now I need to put the verb aller, but conjugate it. So aller, and because it's passé composé, it's accent aigu. Okay, the thing that is different, you have to remember, is that you're using the verb être. This is the verb être. If we use the verb avoir, it would be, this would be j'ai, and this would be aller. And that's not, we don't say j'ai allé. No way, Jose. No j'ai allés. Ever, ever, ever j'ai allé. No. Je suis allé. So, in saying that, on va continuer avec les exemples. Je suis allé. Alors, si tu as tu, ou peut-être il, ok? Les choses que tu dois faire, c'est que tu dois regarder le pronom. Voilà les pronoms. Et maintenant, le verbe être. Je suis allé. On utilise le verbe être avec tu. The student should all know the verb être conjugated with je, tu, il. So it's je suis, tu es, il est, elle est, nous sommes, vous êtes, and il avec un S, elle avec un S, sont, okay? Which you guys should already know that, but that is the verb être. When I send you your lesson, or your activity, or rather, I'll make sure that you have the verb être on there as well. I'm pretty sure it's already on the handout that I gave, but I just got to make sure, okay? But if not, you have to look at the verb être so that you know how to conjugate the verb aller au passé composé, okay? So, je suis allé. Now we have tu. What is the verb être that goes with tu? Tu es. Okay, now we look at the verb aller and we conjugate it. Tu es allé. Does that make sense? Okay. Il. So with il, what's the verb être that goes with il? Il est, and then aller. Okay, the one time that it kind of gets a little bit different than it would be with the regular verbs that you conjugate, if you were to do the plural tense. So let's do plural. Let's take another color here. Let's do some pink. So if I do nous, okay, nous is plural, meaning that there's a bunch of people in that, right? We. We have our verb être. Oh, sorry. I made a mistake there. It's not vous, it's nous sommes. There's an S. That's my verb être for nous. Sorry about that. Nous sommes, and then when you write the verb aller, okay, you're going to write it the same way. Aller, accent aigu. But because it's plural, you need to add an S. Nous sommes allés. Okay? Same with vous. And then when we get to elle, so this would be the same with vous and il avec un S, right? You just add the plural tense because it's plural. So if you were to do, for instance, here, let's do the vous so that you can see. Vous êtes, because that's the verb être. Vous êtes. And then you have aller. You're going to have an S on there again, okay? Because it is plural. So you need to remember, if you're doing a plural over here, you have to carry it on over there, okay? And then let's say elle avec un S, it's going to change a little bit. Elle avec un S, elle, and then the verb être, elles sont allées. So we have our aller, accent aigu, but because it's elle, which is feminine, and there's more than one, we need to put the E for feminine and then the S to indicate plural, okay? But that's only in the plural tense. In elle like this, you would say, actually, you'd say the same thing. You'd have the E. Okay? So that's how it differs a little, is that we do add the plural tense on the end of the aller. We use the verb être in the middle. Okay? So when you're completing it, just remember, this is the most important part to remember, is the formula. Okay? Don't forget this formula right here. Okay? Remember the pronoun. Je, tu, il, elle, nous, vous, il avec un S, elle avec un S. The verb être. Okay? Je suis, tu es, il est, nous sommes, vous êtes, il ou elle with an S sont. Okay? That's the verb être. And then you add your verb aller at the end. Okay? Okay, so j'ai donné un travail. J'ai envoyé par Class Dojo. Il y a un horaire. The schedule was sent. Et sur l'horaire, il y a un lien. There's a link. Et si tu cliques sur ça, il y a une activité que tu peux compléter à propos de le passé composé avec le verbe aller, ok? Mais la chose qui est importante, c'est que tu études le verbe être et le verbe avoir, parce que tu dois utiliser le verbe être et le verbe avoir beaucoup quand tu conjugues avec le passé composé, ok? Si vous avez des questions, tu peux m'envoyer un message par Class Dojo et continuer à travailler des bons efforts et je vais regarder tous les travaux que tu m'envoies. Je suis excitée pour cette semaine. On va faire des choses qui sont un peu plus amusantes, j'espère. Alors, bonne journée. Au revoir.